Welcome to my presentation on the word plot. And even though you may have heard of the word plot many times, actually thinking about what it actually means is a whole different matter. So if I do the definition over here, I mean, you probably still know the definition, but it might help. The plot is the storyline. It is the plan of the story. So that's the basic definition of a plot. It's the storyline, it's the plan behind the story. Now, one way of thinking about this is if you think about a football formation. Now, different football formations can work just as different plots can work, but it's all about kind of the structure of the team. You know, whether there's 3 guys at the back or 5 guys in the middle or 4 guys in the middle. Do you put all your emphasis on the midfield or, you know, the back of the field? Kind of like with a plot, are you going to put all the most dramatic scenes in the middle or at the end or the beginning? And while, you know, different formations can work with different teams, and different plots can work in different stories, some formations just wouldn't make as much sense. If you put, say, 9 or 10 guys in attack and you only had 1 defender, that might be a bit dangerous. In the same way as if you had your plot where nothing interesting happened at the beginning or the middle, and it took all the way until the last chapter for anything interesting to happen, you know, it might be quite difficult for the reader to enjoy it. So that's one way of thinking about it. Another way is if you think about a plot as kind of the crazy scheme that the author dreams up before writing. If I do write this down. So the crazy scheme. The crazy scheme or plan of the author. Now, the plan might not actually be how the story reads. So just because an author says, you know, right, my main character is going to die in the 3rd chapter, and then, you know, he's actually going to magically come back in the 15th chapter, that doesn't kind of lay down whether the story is going to be good or not. So the plot isn't the entire essence of the story. Really, the writing is the essence of the story. The writing is the essence or the heart of the story. But the plot is still important. The plot is still important. You know, it's the plan of this crazy author as they're thinking about what to do. Now, to give some illustration, just to kind of spice it up a bit. I really like that picture for some reason. I don't know why. So one thing that might help you to think about this is like the origin of the word. So, and what colour should I do? Blue. So the etymology, which is the origin of the word. But this is the first video I've done where actually the etymology of the word isn't known. They don't really know what language it came from. They don't know whether it's Latin or Greek or, you know, Mars. They honestly don't know. So all they know is the word plot comes from the same root word as in a garden plot or plotting a graph. You may have heard, you know, the word plot being used in that context, you know, plotting a graph. And it's that same idea of a kind of plan, a kind of layout, you know, even like lines pointing in a certain direction, or an area of land. In the same way, a plot of a story is kind of the scheme, the formation, the plan. You know, the line might be the narrative, or might be the journey of the main character. So in the same way in maths, you kind of say it goes along X and then goes up Y. You know, you might say the plot of a story, the character goes along X number of roads in Y number of days. So a plot kind of has that similar root. And I was trying to think of a good analogy as to what makes a strong plot or what makes a weak plot. And the best analogy I could think of is if you think about music. Because if I just draw the box, what colour? Brown, kind of. If you think about music, in music, what matters is not so much whether it goes fast, not as important in terms of speed, whether it goes fast or slow, because there's lots of, you know, wonderful classical music which goes really slowly, and awesome kind of rock music that's really, really fast. It's not about the speed so much, but it's about the harmony, you know, about the harmony or the rhyme or the rhythm. And that's what makes a good piece of music. It's a kind of flow, all about flow. And for a story, it's about the reader being able to follow the story and enjoy it. Just with a piece of music, if, you know, in the middle of a nice, lovely piece of music, suddenly there was a really loud bang and you just got really confused and it hurt your ears. In the same way, in a plot, if something really crazy or unrealistic happens and it really just confuses you and the author doesn't really know what he or she's doing, that kind of disrupts it. But with a good plot, it can be surprising, just like a piece of music. Suddenly there might be a really dramatic, exciting piece, you know, chorus. So a plot can be exciting, can have twists, but it's about there being a kind of flow to it. And I know this hasn't been my longest video, but really I think I've conveyed the essence of a plot, and I hope it helps.